Hello everyone, Michael Shamelin here, and welcome to another landscape photography vlog. This time we're somewhere a little bit different. We're actually in Iceland, and it's a place I've been wanting to come back to for a really long time. I've only been here once. It was in 2016, and well, to be honest with you, on that trip I didn't feel like I got too many images I was very proud of. I did get the aurora, which was an incredible experience. I'll never forget, seeing it with my own eyes. But as far as the creative images I took, I don't know, left me wanting more, let's say. So I'm back, and I'm actually here with my good friend, Andrew Studer, who I was here with in 2016. So it's really nice to kind of reunite with him. So this gorge right here that we're at is, it's just absolutely incredible. The waterfalls pouring down are already really interesting, but then you add on top of that the colors that are present here. You've got this lush green moss that's covering the ridges, then this really deep turquoise down below in the water. The only problem with this perspective is, as beautiful as it is, I see that there's more waterfalls a little bit around the bend. I can just make out where there'd be more waterfalls. And now, of course, we can't go any further that way because then we'd fall off the cliff. We do have the ability to fly a drone to get a slightly different perspective. What's so nice about the drone in situations like this is doing a bit of problem solving. If you can't get the perspective that you're looking for, this tool can really help you, and providing you're in a safe and legal area to do it. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop this Mavic 2 up, see what kind of perspectives we can get. Now right now I have an ND16 on here so that I can maybe try and do a long exposure. We'll see how that comes out, but I think I'm gonna pop this drone up. So here's my first image from the drone, and this was a 4-image panorama to get this wide perspective. I thought that the colors worked really well here, and I liked the stormy clouds up above to add a bit of drama. After shooting this one, I flew the drone a bit higher and looked straight down, and here's how it turned out. So when I'm using a drone for photography, one of my favorite things to do is capture top-down aerial perspectives. I love being able to take landscapes and really simplify all the shapes and lines. So this horseshoe perspective ended up being right up my alley. I love the symmetry here, the colors, and I thought that the textures of the rivers right above the waterfalls was also a nice touch. All right, Andrew, what are you shooting?
Just shooting some close-ups on the waterfalls because I didn't feel like bringing my 24-70, so I'm kind of stuck with the 1-400, but it's still really beautiful. Nice light out there too.
It's just beautiful how it's kind of spotlighting this area in here. We've got some shadows, and then these cloud textures are really cool too. So I decided with my A7S to set up a time lapse. And it's a pretty simple time lapse. Wide angle with the 16-35, and I'm doing 1-second intervals here, just because these clouds are moving pretty fast. Like, I can see them moving with the naked eye, so I think 1 second should be enough, and I'm hoping there's a little bit of shadow play on the foreground. like it's about to start absolutely pouring rain. So I think we're gonna hike on out of here and try and find another location to shoot, which is an easy task when you're in Iceland because everything looks awesome. After this waterfall spot, we headed towards the dramatic Iceland coast. Although we met some pretty rough weather when we got there. Heavy rain made it a huge challenge to even pull out the cameras. So we had to wait out the rain, and once there was a break, we went back out and we scouted some incredible patterns on the coastline. The diffused light from the storm made perfect conditions to focus in on some abstract compositions and really see all those shapes in soft light. Here's a very simple wide-angle frame using that 16-35, and I love the X pattern that's created here, where everything sort of meets and converges right in the middle of the photograph. I also thought the color palette here with some of those subtle blues and pastel oranges was really nice. This entire coast was just a playground of different textures and shapes, so we kept searching around for some different compositions, and here's what I found. We decided to showcase some of the iconic basalt columns here on the beach, and they were just so fun to play around with. This image specifically focused in on some of those hexagonal shapes and trying to kind of just simplify everything here. Here's another view of those columns from a different angle, and I thought what was fun about this image is those little swirls that were created by the rain. I liked looking at the different tonalities of the rock here. I did manage to shoot one more image of these columns, and I think this one ended up being my favorite. The columns here had so much character to them, almost like little creatures or figures standing up in some kind of stadium. They also had this wavy look to them, which made them, to me, feel a little bit more organic than the previous shapes that I had photographed. And it was cool to see the contrast between this image and the previous ones with the more geometric shapes. After roaming around in the rain for a little bit, we decided to hit the road and we went to another gorgeous waterfall.
So we made it to a pretty cool waterfall out here in Iceland. Just kind of stopped off the side of the road and took a little walk. And the waterfall is interesting itself as a wide angle shot, but I popped on the 100 to 400 lens to see if I could get a little bit closer, some of the textures and patterns. But yeah, I wanted to try a long exposure here, see if I could kind of smooth out the water and give it a nice dreamy kind of fairy tale look. So I've got the 100 to 400 lens, and I'm using a nice 6-stop filter here. I'm playing around a bit with ISO 100, f16, and a 2-second shutter speed, which the 2-second shutter speed, when I'm zoomed in like this, seems to be working out perfect. But yeah, we'll see how this comes out.
I really loved shooting this photograph and isolating out just this little section of the falls. I thought the pyramid shape here, created by the individual falls, made for a really nice composition, and those little bits of dappled light here gave a beautiful dreamy look to the image. I think the softness created by the long exposure also helped quite a bit. I'm sure you can see a trend in this video, but it's really all about finding the less obvious ways to photograph a subject. Regardless of the tool used, this might be the first video where I'm shooting with the 100-400 lens, the wide angle, and even my drone, but all kind of with that common goal in mind. And of course, there's nothing wrong with shooting the dramatic wide angle scenes like that first image I shot of the canyon, but I was just having so much fun playing around and seeing what kind of different compositions I could create here. And while I'm on the subject, let me show you a few of my favorite aerial photographs of the braided rivers that I shot to cap off this video. I had an absolute blast photographing these patterns and shapes, and to me this kind of looked like some sort of strange alien life form. I only had one flight to shoot these before the light got too dark, but it definitely makes me excited to come back and try and photograph more of these rivers in the future. So it's interesting, I think back to the portfolio that I created in 2016 here, and how although some of the images were cool, I wasn't super proud of what I had come up with. And it's weird because that in turn almost made me not want to come back, which that thought process was a huge mistake. And I'm really glad I went against that and came back here, because for this trip I created a bunch of images that I was really happy with. And the one difference that I made for this trip versus the last one was I think I let go, or at least tried to let go, of everything I thought I knew about Iceland and the ways in which I thought you were supposed to photograph Iceland. I just kind of let myself enjoy the experience of being out here with these beautiful places and just see what caught my eye. And in turn, letting go, I had a lot more fun photographing here and a lot more fun just experiencing the place. With that, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and there's more to come, more dramatic landscapes, and even photographing an active volcano. So as always, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, and yeah, I'll catch you in the next one.